Hey horror fans! Today, we are diving into a classic, the 1987 Hellraiser. This film was a huge part of my youth, and even now, it holds up. I've always loved horror movies, the thrill, the demons. It sparked my interest in exploring deeper meanings in cinema. And Hellraiser. It delivers. It shows, rather than tells, and that's what makes it so effective. I've seen it countless times, but this time, I'm approaching it with a more analytical eye. Plus, a fun fact, it's directed by Clive Barker, based on his own work. Let's get into it. We start with a puzzle box, a Le Marchand's configuration, purchased at a market. The seller mysteriously claims it's always belonged to the buyer. Frank Cotton, back home, opens it under candlelight, and well, let's just say things get gruesome. We are introduced to the Cenobites, their realm of chains and flesh, and their pursuit of, well, let's just say they are not looking for a friendly chat. Then, we shift to a seemingly normal, albeit dusty, house. Larry Cotton, Frank's brother, moves in with his wife, Julia. Julia notices the musty smell, but Larry brushes it off. This house has a dark history, and it's not just the smell. Larry's brother, Frank, was against selling the house after their mother's death, and now, here they are. This is a classic horror film. It has all the elements: chains, blood, gore, a truly unpleasant smell, decaying food, maggots, the works. There's a touch of sex, and of course, the blood of a relative plays a crucial role in Frank's return from, well, let's just say it. It's not a pleasant vacation spot. The scene of Frank's return is supposed to be terrifying, but I found myself chuckling at the sight of those bones emerging from the floor. And yes, Larry's first wife and Kirsty's mother is dead, Julia is his second. And it seems Julia has a special interest in Frank. And yes, it's the late 80s, so expect a lot of smoking. The move-in celebration is short-lived. Julia, haunted by memories, leaves early and finds Frank, or rather, what's left of him. He's a skeletal husk, needing help, and Julia, remembering a past promise to do anything for him, steps up. To regain his human form, he needs flesh and blood. And Julia, it seems, is more than happy to provide. The men she attracts are, well, let's just say they are not exactly the sharpest tools in the shed. It's also worth noting that these characters aren't young, they are closer to 40. That's a refreshing change from many horror films. Julia's coldness towards her husband contrasts sharply with her passion for Frank, even after his brutality. Is it love? I doubt it. It's about the sex, the thrill, the power. She's not just bringing victims to Frank, she's killing them. And it seems the act itself is stimulating. A seemingly refined woman with a dark secret. She's remarkably composed, though. She kills a man, cleans up, and carries on. The problem? Time is running out. Frank's escape from hell won't go unnoticed. And his declaration of their bond. It's like love, only real. It seems their shared act of murder is their connection. He's even willing to kill his own brother. Shocking? Not really, considering where he's been. The film explores the connection between pain and pleasure. It's a simple yet effective trap. I'm sure it inspired many to explore that connection. Clive Barker is a talented director, and I love his work, including Nightbreed. But this film, it's undeniably provocative. It touches on sadomasochism, and it could be harmful. Even just thinking about these themes can lower your vibrations. Can pain truly become pleasure? Absolutely, especially when primal instincts take over, and spirituality is absent. Larry notices Julia's strange behavior and asks his daughter, Kirsty, to talk to her. It's odd that the film doesn't highlight a closer relationship between stepmother and stepdaughter. But Kirsty arrives just as Julia brings in another victim. Kirsty encounters not only a half-dead body, but also her uncle Frank. In her escape, she grabs the puzzle box. Hopefully, it doesn't open just from a touch. But as I've said, these things have a strange allure. She opens it, and the Cenobites arrive. To save herself, she gives up Frank. But by then, he's already skinned his brother and essentially become him. In the end, Frank is returned to where he belongs. But the Cenobites aren't done. They want Kirsty, a young, fresh virgin. She resists, even though she willingly opened the box. It's a double-edged sword. The box, a gateway to hell, looks like a common puzzle box, the kind you find in toy stores. Kirsty opened it because she thought it was just a game. We'll ignore the inherent allure of the magical artifact for now. This doesn't mean toy stores will start selling gateways to hell, but who knows what those who have controlled our world for centuries have in store for us. And yes, the box is back on the market, waiting for new victims. But that's a story for Hellraiser 2.